Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the JetStream. This is a collaboration between Tashi Bharucha and custom knife maker Voorhies. So this is a knife that's actually been on my wish list or want list for quite some time, and I was able to pick one up through a trade for a very nice Mako with another custom collector. So I do miss the Mako, but again, you can't keep them all. So the Tashi or the Mako left and the JetStream entered, and I've been really happy to have this one, and I'm glad that I'm finally getting around to the video here. So we'll go through the normal format, specs, overall impressions, details, same as always, but this is what it ships with. It's just a box. It does say the JetStream, does have Voorhies' name on it, and it comes with a nice pouch here, as well as a certificate of authenticity and a little bit of details, signature. Date of birth on this one was January 22nd, 2014. So anyways, let's get that out of the way. So specs on this particular knife. Obviously this is a frame lock. This is not a frame lock flipper. This is a liner lock flipper, and ball bearing system, S35VN. I believe it is on IKBS. I forgot to verify that with Les, who was kind enough to give me a little bit of his time prior to this video, so thank you so much for that, Les. But as I mentioned, S35VN does have a nice satin blade. Blade length is about 3 3/4 inches long here, and the actual cutting length is just about 3.5 inches. Overall length is 8 3/4 inches. And then the handle thickness on this knife, as you can see, it's a pretty thick knife, is just about 0.65 inches, but if you take the clip into account at the back here, you're looking at 0.9 inches wide at that measurement there. It does weigh in at 6 ounces, and a combination of lightning strike carbon fiber, bronze titanium, or bronze anodized titanium, and then that satin finish S35VN. So those are the specs for the most part. As far as my overall impressions, man, it's you know, it's a fantastic knife. The design is absolutely amazing, and probably what drew me to this knife in the first place. And then Voorhies is a very, very capable custom knife maker. Probably doesn't have as much of a following or as much credit as he deserves. He's still a little bit under the radar. I mean, those in the know are certainly aware of him, but as far as popularity and kind of the mainstream and the new social media wave, I think he's kind of overlooked to an extent, but his talent is extremely evident. So amazing build, amazing knife, amazing action, materials. When people speak about the quality of custom knives, this knife exemplifies what they mean, and not all custom knives have these qualities. So take that for what it is. But yeah, let's get into the specifics then on this knife. So of course, you've got this really nice satin finish, S35VN, drop point, a little bit of swedge at the top, and without question, one of the most aggressive hollow grinds that I have seen on a knife ever. It comes down from a very thick stock to a very, very thin edge. Certainly meant for slicing, and apologize for the fingerprints I'm getting on this already. I have carried this one, and you know, so I don't necessarily baby it, but this isn't a knife you want to thump on. So again, S35VN, there is the Tashi logo, and then there is the Voorhies, well, I guess his name. I think his knives have other logos, but since it's a collaborative piece, he just left it at that. So let's take a look at the flipper tab. No jimping to speak of, but in the typical Tashi design format, there is a cutout here that leads up into the flipper tab. So you know, beautiful lines, amazing transition, and then that cutout there does give you a little extra to put your finger when you're going to flip this knife, so really smooth. Now, as you can see in the open position, the flipper tab then perfectly matches the cutout here, the choil here, and just flows really well in that overall design. Creates a very positive grip on the knife. So even though there's really no traction and the materials aren't high traction at all, really that first finger cutout or choil there along with the flipper tab acts as a guard and really lets you just kind of grab the knife in a really comfortable fashion. So yeah, really cool. All right, let's take a look at the handle then. So lightning strike carbon fiber, beautiful bronze copper wiring throughout here that ties in perfectly with the bronze titanium pivot, and then the bronze liners and the bronze back spacer and the bronze pocket clip. Lots of color, lot going on in the design with the lightning strike carbon fiber, but still just very clean, almost simplistic, but beautiful. Lockup is just about, maybe 30%. One of the nicest lockups I've ever felt on a titanium liner lock. No stick whatsoever, disengages perfectly, and it is rock solid in the lockup. So really, really well done. Now the knife, the detent, let's see if I can show you the detent here. Nice strong detent. Can't shake it out. I've tried multiple times, but it still isn't difficult to flip. It's a very large, heavy blade due to the blade stock here, but it cannot be shaken out. So now here's the only thing on the knife that I don't quite particularly love, and this is the pocket clip. It actually works really, really well, but as you can see, that extra thickness, you do kind of feel it in the hand a little bit here. And so, the knife isn't as comfortable as it otherwise could be. I'm almost curious to take off the pocket clip and just hold the knife without any pocket clip on it to really enjoy these fully contoured carbon fiber scales. I think that would be really, really exceptional in the hand. Now, this is an older style pocket clip that Les did. I don't believe he does this one anymore. It is extremely functional. It's very sturdy. It's a tremendously thick piece of titanium. Hasn't really picked up any wear. I think it has an orange peel or eggshell pattern to it, along with being anodized gold. So it works really well. Lets you carry this one deep, which is nice. I don't really care one way or the other. It's still easy to get out of the pocket. But it protects some of the knife from scratches that otherwise might happen. Backspacer is actually one piece of titanium, if you can see it there, but he milled in a line that almost makes it look like two separate pieces that are sandwiched together, but really nice detail, just adds a little bit to it. So now, as I mentioned, I did have the opportunity to talk to Les about the knife, about the build, about the process. I wanted a little bit of information about how something like that works. What is it like to work with Tashi Bharucha? How does the process work? And apparently the way that it started is Dave at Steel Addiction, who I believe is the primary dealer for all of Tashi's designs, commissioned the build. Tashi had a design, he had a designer in mind. They reached out to Les, and Les said, yeah, I'd be happy to jump in on this build. Now, there may or may not be another one with Tashi coming. I think there's one in the works, but hopefully, because he has incredible designs, as this one certainly illustrates. But what happened is Tashi will send him basically a stencil and some specs of how he wants it to look. And then Les is allowed to essentially put his own, creative touches on the knife, such as the proud liners here. A feature that I fell in love with initially on the Spyderco Gale Bradley, and you know, it's really, really well done on this knife. It brings out the copper and the bronze coloration through the handle. It just ties in perfectly. So that's typically how the process works. He's given a stencil, he's given specs, and then the maker will go in and put their personal touches on it. And I believe the way that it works is Tashi will come up with a design, and then, you know, knowing the different styles and kind of the nuances of specific makers, he will approach a specific maker for a specific design, probably with an end product in mind or an end build in mind. So this design, you know, worked certainly with Les's build style, and the finished product is absolutely beautiful. So I asked Les what his favorite thing was about this knife, and he said he really likes the, I guess, the steps here in Tashi's designs, like the way that the flipper tab, you know, integrates with the design. So he certainly enjoys working with Tashi. Now, as far as Tashi goes, again, certainly a very well-known designer. I think a lot of people do covet his designs, and he only works with the best of the best. Bob Turzula, Peter Carey, Craig Lightfoot, Alan Elishewitz, and so, you know, the fact that Les has built a knife and did a project with him, I think speaks to his skill level, and I would certainly put him in the same level, the same tier as those other makers that were just mentioned. So, like right now on Les's website, he does have a full-dressed Model 11, you know, the best of the best materials just sitting there ready to be sold. And I asked Les about that, and he said, you know, I always feel bad when my website has nothing for sale, even though it should. So he's sneaking different models onto the website for sale every now and again. Right now it's a full dress Model 11. You know, later on it might be a different design, different materials and so forth. But Les seemed like a great guy. I believe he's out of Minnesota. And a little bit more about Les. He's been a part-time maker since 1994. Went full-time in 2005, and then in 2012 he actually picked up a job for a year because the market kind of took a turn, and you know, he needed to supplement his income a bit. The end of 2012, I believe the market picked back up, and so he went back to a full-time maker. So really interesting to consider, you know, what happens to, you know, even these top-tier makers when the market drops. But anyways, great guy. Follow him on Instagram if you're not. I'll put links down to Tashi and Les in the comments or in the description box below. So anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. Just wanted to give you guys a look at what many consider to be a grail piece, and a piece that I feel very fortunate to have in my collection. Don't know if it'll be with me forever because I can't keep them all, but really has been a treat to be able to carry and enjoy and fondle this one and think about it, write about it, do all the things that I've done with it. So comments or questions, let me know. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and click that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. More videos coming soon, more productions, a few more customs that I definitely need to get moving on, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.